So welcome everybody. We welcome you to another Power Pack session this Sunday. So this is our seventh session actually, and we couldn't be happier bringing you a super relevant subject. The times we live in today, caring for health is supremely important, and we dive deeper into how our mind can be harnessed to empower our immune system and heal our bodies with constant positivity. We have a guest speaker today who has to his credit several cases of people improving their health holistically by practicing yoga and meditation with his advice and constant motivation, of course. Uh, we do have an important disclaimer today. This session is not a replacement therapy for any ailment. This does not replace any consultation or treatment by physician or a doctor. This is a two-way discussion and information for exchange of knowledge. For any health challenges or diseases discussed in this webinar, please consult a medical practitioner. And our usual housekeeping, please keep your profile on mute. And if you want to say something, use the chat window and we can make the session very interactive. And if the meeting does time out after 40 minutes, please come back in using the same link provided. And I'll hand you over to Kalyani now.
Hi there, welcome everyone. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me well? Okay, great. So welcome, and I'm really grateful that all of you are joining us today. And this is going to be a really useful and super relevant session. I'm going to start with a quote, and I invite you to reflect on this quote and tell me if you agree with it. The quote is, "The cells in your body react to everything that you say, that your mind says. Negativity brings down your immune system." I thought that was quite powerful. So ancient practices like yoga are deeply rooted in mind-body connection, the foundation of exercise, healing, and well-being. Modern science too has abundant examples and evidence on healing. My research for this session of Teja has been by far the most interesting and fascinating. And the recurrent themes that I found through all my research was that your mind and your thoughts leading to your emotions are extremely powerful, and they can impact your health adversely. So if they can make you sick, then if you flip it around, they can make you better too. And I couldn't be more excited today because we've got a guest speaker who has got all these amazing science-based evidence that is going to impress you. And I invite Jayanti now to share her insights on this subject, especially being a biomedical researcher. I think she can share with us some evidence-based facts too. Jayanti.
Yeah, thanks, Kalyani, and thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm really grateful for all the people who've been attending our webinars, especially. This is a really interesting subject for me because, like you said, I'm a biomedical researcher, but I think I'm also a deeply spiritual person. So it really makes me so interested and intrigued that there's so much evidence that tells us that our emotional states are connected to how our physical well-being is. There's so much evidence, for example, about the microbiology of our gut related to depression. There's so much evidence about stress and cardiovascular diseases. So there's plenty of reading to do, and I'm sure that you don't have to be a biomedical researcher to even know this at this point of time, because everyone talks about it, everyone knows about it. And what's interesting is that despite there being so much knowledge on this subject, so much research on this subject, I wonder what we can do to actually bring these things into practice. If there is a strong mind and body connection, can we harness the power of the mind to improve our body? And can we also improve our body to then improve our state of mind? So this strong interlink we can really make use of it. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to Raghvendra on this subject.
Thank you, Jayanti. Yes. So I agree with Jayanti. There's a lot of research, and I looked at some really impactful YouTube videos, and there's heaps of books. So you can soak up all this knowledge, but then that's knowledge gathering. What can we do on a day-to-day basis to make it more applicable to us? How can we actually harness this amazing superpower of the mind to live healthier lives, more becoming more fit, strengthening our immune system? So as I said, I'm really excited that we have a subject matter expert today, Raghavendra. So if we go to the next slide, I can introduce Raghavendra to all our participants. I think a lot of you already are familiar with him. He's a certified yoga trainer, and he's a qualified professional in biochemical engineering and pharmacy. So Raghavendra is an executive coach for lifestyle and well-being. He's the author of the book Dietitude, Diet, Yoga and Attitude. And he has an impressive 350 health aspirants that he has helped in this journey towards health and fitness, me being one of them, and I can give testimony to his excellent advice. He is a facilitator with a number of sessions to his credit. So if you're looking at the slide on your screen right now, you can read, there's a list, and I think the list continues, where you can get an idea of the kind of sessions that he has delivered. So welcome, Raghavendra, to our Teja webinar today. Can we?
Raghavendra, you are on mute.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
Audible. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm after going through this list also. I made a mistake not to unmute myself, so that is a practice, okay, which is required. So, thank you so much for this introduction. I think I have to introduce myself to myself also after seeing the slides. So I have to go through it and revise it.
Thanks, Raghavendra. We'll just go through like a Q&A format, and I'll invite Jayanti to ask you the first question. Jayanti.
Thanks, Kalyani. I'm really excited for this. So, Raghavendra, the first question that I want to ask you is that we talk so much about this mind and body connection, and we think about how strongly they are linked and what we can do to heal our body using our mind. But I also think the other way around is very important about how our mind functions when we're eating and we're trying to be healthy in our body. So a lot of what we eat isn't exactly necessarily just eating like an animal, because we're human beings, we have emotions, and a lot of what we eat is emotional eating. And I know, for example, that cake may not be a healthy thing for me to eat, but when I'm in a very sad emotional state of mind, I feel like that is the only thing that can help me to get out of that emotional state. So, can you tell us about a little bit about emotional eating and how we can get our emotions to eat better?
Okay, I'll start with a negative example of it. Have you seen people smoking? Smoking is most injurious to health. But when they smoke, they are doing like they are drinking immortal liquid, amrit, what we say it as. Okay, they have that much joy, and everything is negative there except emotions. Except emotions, right? Emotions has effect, definitely. There are people, and they are among us. They know the test of food. If the food is prepared in rage or anger, the taste of food can be changed. Proportion changes. As a pharmacist, we are dealing with always proportions of drugs constituents. So proportion changes. When we prepare, when we eat, at that point of time, how much you chew, what are your emotions, that also reflects in our food. If you eat it in a haste, naturally, if you see it from a biochemical point of view, it will not be turned into a pest or small pieces. Naturally, it will require more acidic content. to dissolve it. The absorption will be slower. Naturally, person will suffer from the indigestion. So emotions also matter. Apart from that, whenever you have laughter, smile on the face, definitely your lot of different hormones, they will come into play. They'll play their role, and those have again actions over the digestion. So emotions have action over the digestion. One central system of digestion will actually help to keep all the other system balanced. So emotions are very important. If you have negative emotions, it will have a negative effect. If you have a laughter, it will have a positive effect definitely.
Thanks, Raghavendra, for sure. And I think when I'm in a positive state of mind, do you think I will be eating healthier just naturally, or what do you think about that?
Yeah. See, when you are positive state of mind, your approach towards the food will be that eat natural food, not a natural food or not a synthetic food. Natural food which is compatible to the body. When you are in a positive state of mind, you will always go for the better food. Number one. Number two, you will always go for the better combination of food. You won't eat lemon with milk, right? You cannot. So the combination of food, your acceptance of food by the body will definitely matter much more. So positive state of mind is very important for accepting the food by the body.
Great. Thank you, Raghavendra. That was insightful. So can I ask the second question now? So uh, positive state of mind while we're on that subject. Um, how can we use our mind to get into good habits and good discipline, especially with exercise? For example, we know that we should be eating healthy, we should be doing yoga every day, but we hear motivating sessions, or we get some advice, or we watch some video and we feel inspired, and for a day or two we are very enthusiastic about it, and then slowly back to the same old me. So can you give us some tips on how we can use our mind to improve the discipline?
That's a very good question, rather very practical question. Uh, Attending some session, motivating session, if it is not affecting our good good way, our life, then it will become a James Bond movie only. Okay, so it has a 3 hours effect, 2 hours effect, and it is done. The important thing after the session, after attending any session, or to inculcate good habit, is its consistency. Number one. Number two, it's startup. These are the two important points which are there. Consistency, you have to have a recalling capacity for that. But to maintain the consistency, you have to start every day. So for example, if you have a good habit that before uh, going for a bath, you should always go for some yoga, so that the perspiration will be there, and then your muscles will be free up. After that, a hot water bath, and then you start your day, and then the breakfast, like that. If this habit you would like to inculcate, the best way is how to start. Always it is said that yoga should be started with a micro yoga. In even in the epics, you will find Hatha Yoga Pradipika by Swami Swatmaram. They say first thing is very simple micro yoga should be there. Like it can be even moment of a rest, very simple moment of a rest. Okay, and this moment of rest, moment of our neck, moment of shoulder. So startup, in startup, our cranial nerves, they will get activated, our nervous system get activated, and because of that, we are able to do yoga. If we are able to start it, then definitely there will be consistency. There is one more principle which I generally advise people. If we don't want to, we don't have a time for yoga. Uh, Everybody is busy in profession because we have been inculcated with our thought that the profession is first and body is second, which is not the case. Body is there, profession will be there. Okay. The second thing is 60 seconds principle. 60 seconds principle. If you don't have any time, you have 60 seconds. That's definite. So in 60 seconds, every day, if you perform yoga in 60 seconds, for just 60 seconds, it will at least reiterate the path in your nervous system. It will connect your synapses and it will actually slowly go into your habit. I won't say go into your DNA. That's a phrase. It won't change the genetic structure of your body, but it will definitely inculcate the habit. If you cannot do even 60 seconds, you can just raise your hand, bring it back. Now, even Trump has this time, right? Okay. Trump can say Vivekanandan. He can say definitely he can do this, right? Everybody has that time. So I feel for consistency and startup, these are the two important things for any habit.
Great.
Thanks, Jonathan.
The 60-second is quite important, I guess. No one can have an excuse because everyone has 60 seconds. Do you want to ask the third question, Jayanti?
Yes, thank you. I thought that was really insightful, something to think about, especially because I know that I am always, I'm a person, I really like what you said, that we've been told this in our whole lives, that your career is so important and, you know, your body is not that important, but if our body is not healthy, we won't have a career. So that's really something to think about. So the third question that I want to ask you is, you know, we always hear these stories of people having spontaneous remissions from diseases where doctors had given up, for example. And there's this story, some of you may have heard the story about the miracle man who was in a tragic accident. And then one day he said, on Christmas, I'm going to walk out of this hospital on my two legs. And it actually happened that he was on the wheelchair, and on Christmas Day, he got up and he left from the hospital. So people call him the miracle man because people think that this is a miracle. You know, he has literally cured um, this illness, this whole paralysis of his body just by using his mind. So do you think this is a miracle, or do you think that there is some science to the fact that people can actually heal their bodies using their mind?
Oh, it's a very complicated questions. I think this has two facets. One is whether it is miracle and whether it exists, right? So first thing is actually there is no miracle as such. Miracles doesn't have a base, right? And the thing which has a base is a science, right? There are only two sciences. One is astrology and another is human body. There is nothing third, right? So here the important point is we have an effect of uh, our own mind, our own brain on our body, and our brain has a lot of huge capacities which are unexplored. Okay, many times it happens that we come to know what is going to happen and we say no, I may be wrong, and same thing happens. How it happens we don't know. Rather, if you the part of the brain, say limbic system, which is not even explored, pineal gland, what it does, it is not explored. Okay, if you say the hippocampus of the brain, it's not explored. There are a number of things which are not explored, which will be explored in the future. You'll find there are people who does yoga and who particularly does the particular portion of yoga out of the 8 different classification of yoga which is given by our epics. They will have particular effect of it. Okay, so our mind has a healing capacity, but to exploit that healing capacity we need a lot of practice. Of course everybody has a journey. So some people, they get that capacity because they get those consistency, those atha yoga anushasanam, that consistency, that power they get Okay, some people you will find that they eat a lot, but they won't get fat. If a person like me eat a pakora, then probably within some 7 days I will put on 2 to 3 kg of weight every day if I eat. But some people won't, because their agility is like that. Some people, they have a natural control over their emotions, natural control over their craving. Okay, so they will definitely not get fat so easily. Similarly, some people have a tendency to control themselves. Okay, they can definitely talk with their mind, and you will find that, say for example, if I say how our body get controlled by our mind. Best example is, you heard of tamarind, that sour in taste. And if you chew the tamarind, it's so sour. If you take a half cut lemon, cut it into two pieces, and squeeze it, try to test it. It will be sour, and of course it is tasty, right? You take some oranges, eat it, and during eating oranges, you will find so delicious with the vitamin C. It's just 10 seconds, but even my saliva also gets secreted. I have not shown you an orange, I have not shown you any lemon, but I'm sure all those people who are attending sessions and who heard this few 10 sentences, they might have got definitely tamarind. After thinking of tamarind, they got the saliva in their mouth. This secretion of saliva indicates that it has a hormonal effect. The tylen gets secreted. It has a hormonal effect. So hormones have effect of mind. Hormones have healing power, right? So mind, if you are controlling mind, you are controlling hormones, you are controlling digestion, you are controlling your all the endocrine glands. And endocrine glands, if they are controlled, body is controlled. It is, I said, almost a whole life system in 2 sentences, which is not so easy, right? So controlling even one hormone itself takes whole life. Okay, so for example, there is a there is one mudra known as the Ashwini mudra. Okay, this is used for increasing the uh, power of our pelvic portion. It is lifting or integrating our the genetic muscles, perineal muscles, or the anal muscles together and hold it. Believe me, if this is done for even 20 seconds, the person will be highly confident, which automatically occurs when you jump from, say, second floor, okay, or when you are in Tora Tora. It automatically occurs. That is the nature. Okay, nobody is doing that. It's automatically occurs. So our mind has a healing power. Our emotions also have healing power. It can be held, and definitely, if this particular healing power is applied on our own, it will it will definitely make wonders, which are not miracle. They are science. They are advanced science.
Thank you. That's a great answer and something to think about for sure. I think we can open the chat window now for questions from other people, if other people have any questions.
Please feel free to type in the chat window if you have questions.
Yeah.
I like the way Raghavendra says with conviction, it is science, it's not a miracle. I love that.
Hmm.
It's a miracle of science,
Yes.
scientific miracle.
Totally. Do you want to ask anything in the meantime, Jayanti, while we're waiting for people to type?
I was just thinking, you know, when we spoke about that subject of cravings and how our cravings dictate what we eat. And I'm wondering, what do you think there is a balance somewhere between giving into our cravings and eating just whatever we want? We spoke about the emotional side of eating. So, can you talk a little bit on that subject about whether there's a balance of entertaining our cravings?
It's a very good question. Rather, this is a question which generally we address in diet when somebody asks instead of one katora of rice, can I eat 5 gulab jamun? Okay. uh, then there is a next question which is definitely awaited. That 5 gulab jamun and one big katora of rice have same energy. It's right. So I should eat 5 gulab jamuns, right? The answer is very complicated. When we eat something, our body, when we once eat something, once, our body next day try that this should not be eaten. Our other part of the body, rather it is in the digestive system I'm speaking in terms of, they expect something kind of this because they are prepared for that today also I'll at least get 4 gulab jamun. Because yesterday to digest those 5 gulab jamun, okay, those 5 sweets, body has poured lot of the carbohydrate lysing enzymes, lot of acid, and today body is prepared for that. Probably you would have eaten one katora of rice, body would have said it's already crushed, okay, it has no sugar as such. Half of the thing can go down, no worries. I can just absorb 5%, 10% of it. So habit, if I eat 5 gulab jamun, if I eat 5 sweets, it has more effect on the body as compared to one katora of rice. So definitely eating two things having the same energy have different effect. Consider the other effect of it. The one katora of rice is equivalent to 2 spoons of olive oil, rather 1 spoon of olive oil. Fat has immense energy. The fat, when it requires a lot of acid to digest, you will immediately get the acidity. Immediately. And it has a different effect. But it won't get absorbed. It will impart nausea, having the same energy, but having different effect. If you have a habit of eating something which is say in terms of yoga, sattvic food, a food which is good to your body, nutritious to your body, and suddenly you shift yourself to a non-sattvic food which is not compatible food to your body will immediately respond to that. Immediately it will be respond. Body will have its effect, immediate effect. Sorry, there is some sound. So definitely the habit of eating a food will matter much more. What we eat, we should think before eating that this is to be eaten. Very important.
Right. We have some questions from people. One question is, how do we improve our metabolism?
Okay. So metabolism is actually what you can say the biochemical pathways of our body. Okay. It has anabolism, catabolism, and all those technical things leave it apart. But it is like a kind of digestive power, the assimilation power, or taking a food in small droplets to each part of the body, and also picking up the excreta from each cell and taking it to the kidney to throw it away. This is all metabolism cycle. How to improve it? There are stimulus for it. The first foremost stimulus is take a bath. So whenever bath is something which is given a God gift. Why? Because our skin is always shedding off. It has a dead cell, almost 3 trillion dead cell we shed off every day. Every day, 3 trillion, huge. So taking a bath increases the metabolism. Yoga, if you see yoga, specifically yoga of say lungs, they also increase the metabolism. Even if you breathe in fast, breathe in explicitly and breathe out explicitly, it will increase the metabolism. Not necessary you have to do asana. When you do different position asana, the metabolism automatically increases. The first step in yoga is said as cleaning. Without cleaning, our metabolism increase may not have a good effect on us, may have a very partial effect. So cleaning is very important. Dhauti, basti, tatha, neti, naulikam, tratakam, tatha. So all these tratak, dhauti, basti, neti, all these are, in medical terms, basti is known as enema. Dhauti is known as drinking water and is just spilling out. We say vomiting, but it is not a vomiting, it's a dhauti. Okay, it has a difference. So neti, that is cleaning of our ENT or our throat, larynx, pharynx cavity. So cleaning techniques are important, and after that, yogasana is important. So yogasana will definitely increase our metabolism.
Great. So we have a few more questions. I'll just quickly go through some of them. There's a question about someone saying that when they're stressed, they experience coughing.
Okay. Coffee.
No, coughing. Coughing.
Coughing. Oh, okay. Coughing or coffee? Experience coughing.
Coughing, yeah.
Okay. So, see, when stress is there, it has several effects. It will release the adrenaline from your adrenal gland, and this has a different effect. The one of the effect is bronchoconstriction. Another effect is actually a secretion of mucus. But before that, there is a drying of our complete mucus. After that, there is a secretion, bronchoconstriction is there, and coughing occurs. So, always to break stress, take a deep breath and breathe out. The best advice to drivers, when we are driving, we are in particular stress of driving, and sometimes they get again coughing because we are in stress. To break it, the best way is take a deep breath and breathe out. People are in that vicious circle of possessed by driving, and there are chances to make a mistake. The stress work positively up to some limit, and after that it starts its negative effect. The sincerity is brought by stress, but after that it very quickly decline to that extent that it has a deposition of fat in the coronary arteries, it has a blocking, it has increase in blood pressure, then it has a trembling of hands if you are not at ease. Okay, people started mannerism this way, that way, mannerism will start. You will have kind of goosebump in stress, so many different effects. Once the person comes to know the body, this particular creature is only two things. One is the body, which is made up of clay, water, a small amount of air, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash and Prithvi, and one internal energy, cosmic energy known as soul, then there is no stress. You know why people get stress? Very important. Because only creature on this earth who does job, service, job, business, is human being. There is no organism in this earth which does job. They do their own job. Ant will do its own job. They have schedule to bring sweet from somewhere and put it to their home. Honeybee has their own job, daily job. They won't get any money out of it. Only creature on the earth which has a lot of stress is human being. So naturally, you will have a coughing. You have a lot of things in stress. Lot of things. People will forget things because it will affect your memory. It will affect your complete limbic system, which is in between the two brains, two part of the brain hemispheres, and they'll forget. So laughter is the only remedy at this point of time, apart from taking a deep breath.
That's a great answer. Um, so we've got three more questions, but I don't know if we'll have time for everything. We'll just maybe you can contact Raghavendra as well, and if you already are in touch with him, you'll be able to gain more insights from him. But there's a couple more that I'll just quickly run through. Someone's curious about whether onion and you mentioned sattvic food, and there's some uh, some religions, or even in Hinduism to some extent, they say onion and garlic can have negative impact on your thoughts. So what do you think about
Okay. This question is like this. I remember my first year ragging. Okay, one senior, he he asked to my classmate. She was one very smart girl, and he asked, "Hello." Now this girl has a problem. If I shake hand with the senior, you are shaking hand with the senior. You don't have any courtesy. And if she doesn't shake hand with the senior, you don't have courtesy. I have just kept my hand in front of you. So it's like that, this question. Religion, I don't want to speak about religion, but I can speak from the point of view of its medical approach. Okay. Because religion is based on the region, the community, the requirement of that time, right? So that is a basis of every religion. So that is a requirement. But medically, allium cepa, which is onion, it has principles which are actually a kind of properties which has aphrodisiac properties. It suddenly increases the desires, suddenly decreases the desires. So if you have any desire, not only I'm saying the romantic desire, I'm saying the desire just to grab this particular the case of this particular specs, that is also a desire, that is also a craving. Anything which increases the craving of anything. In yoga, it is said that it will take yourself out of that, because the sixth principle of yoga, that is a pratyahara. Pratyahara is to bring your own organs internally, to internalize your organ. We if we are in some session, there is a question: tell me the meaning of cyclopentanophorhydrophenanthrin nucleus. Oh my god, it gets stress. If I internalize myself, I'll reach to the answer. So it is an internalizing. So in yoga, it is said that you have to internalize yourself. Don't get affected by all other things. So it includes onion, uh, it includes any alcohol, it includes caffeine, it includes anything which will take ourselves away from ourselves. You know, our control should not be in somebody else's hand. A small creature like onion, a small fruit which has our control, is not acceptable to yoga. It's not acceptable. Not only onion, there are a number of things. So in yoga it is said, susnikta sumadura aharasya, the ahar or the diet which is good for our soul, which is good for our body should be taken. It includes, you can say, it includes even sweet. It includes sweet. But it doesn't include sugar, right? It includes honey, which contains saffron, saccharin. No, sorry, not saffron, saccharin, which is 444 times sweeter than sugar. So we have to be away from any lurings. Okay, already we have a lot of lurings. Now mobile has added to it. Okay, so not only onion, there are a number of things. Whichever thing which unnecessarily attract us and waste our time, that should be kept away.
Great. I think there's only one question we have time for now, and apologies for people whose questions I couldn't ask. But please, we have a slide where we share Raghavendra's details, so you can get in touch with him. So someone's asking about intermittent fasting versus eating more frequently. So obviously there's two schools of thought, one about having fixed meals a day and intermittent fasting versus eating every 2 hours. So what are your thoughts on this, Raghavendra?
Okay. Yeah, this is a modern question because there are people who come with their theories, and they say there are too many jokes on this. We should have intermittent fasting, or we should have intermittent meals like that, right? So see, intermittent fasting, like if we keep ourselves long time without food in the stomach, that is also not permitted in yoga. What yoga say, that you have to have a balance in life, not extremism, right? So as per the Lord Gautam Buddha, they say that you should eat your the 2 handful of food, not more than that. So even intermittent fasting, they say that there are festivals they have brought for fasting. Okay, and that is there in across the world. Actually, some people they say it as a ekadashi, some people say it as a rosa. That is across the world, that there should be fasting at least once in a 1 month or 2 months. There should be fasting, because reason is apoptosis. Apoptosis is death of unrequired malignant cells, or cells which are oxidation, or because of the oxygen isotope, they get oxidized and they can become a malignant, they can become a problematic to our body. So there should be fasting sometimes, but it's not like that to reduce the weight we should have a fasting. It's like uh, you do this experiment. In the morning, you you have some puppy or some dog in your home. Take a bread, give it to your puppy in the morning, and then keep that puppy as it is. And in the night again, take that bread. The puppy will not come to you. It will jump on you, because in the morning you have showed that puppy bread, right? And throughout the day, you kept him empty stomach. So, if we have intermittent fasting, our body will crave for food. Okay. As a result of it, the next day we'll eat much more than required. So, overeating, our osmotic pressure of our every cell matters a lot. It won't get ions, right? It won't get proper ions. Its osmotic pressure changes. Why intermittent fasting is there? The root reason. This is what, when I went through the different biochemical pathways, they think that because in the intermittent fasting, our metabolism will shift from the consumption of carbohydrate to glycogen, and when the glycogen in the liver and muscles is exhausted, the body will go for consumption of the fat, and that will reduce the weight. See, it's not a mechanical system, it's a biochemical system, right? Biochemical system. It has lot of feedback mechanisms. It is, there are 70 different hormones which are interacting on each other, which has an effect on each other. Plus, there are so many vitamins which has cofactor. Plus, there are every type of amino acids has a different factor affecting each other. So it's not a mechanical system. Although it is an input output dynamic system, but it's a bioreactor. So it cannot have the rules of mechanical system. Rather, I feel every person diet should be different. There are certain rules, but every person should design diet for himself or herself. It should be individual.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you, Raghavendra. There are a few more questions. We'll see if we have some time left over at the end of the session to address those. But I think we can move on to the meditation that Raghavendra is going to conduct for us, the healing meditation. And we will play a soft background score. So I invite you to guide us through the meditation, Raghavendra.
Okay, let's have the real effect of calmness. So let's all keep both the hands, if you are sitting on a chair, both the hands over our knee. Keep your backbone straight. If you are lying on the floor, you can keep a distance of 1 feet between your two legs. Your palms are the sky. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Slowly breathe out. Slowly relax your toe. Concentrate on the hill. Relax your hill. Relax the calf muscle. Relax the eyes. Relax the portion. Relax the tummy. Chest, neck. No pores on your forehead. Relax the mouth. Relax all shoulder. Let the body breathe in and breathe out effortlessly. Very slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. With the breath in, concentrate this on the sound. So, um, concentrate on the fluid. Consider you're sitting at the bank of the river. River is flowing. You're relaxing yourself. Relax yourself. You're watching the flowing river. Watch the sun rising. Sun is rising up slowly. Your whole body is relaxed. The body is getting energetic. Your energy levels are increasing. The body is relaxed, but it is more energetic. Slowly, sun is rising. You could see the yellow color of the sun spread in the sky. Your breathing is slow, effortless. Take a deep breath. Your left leg, left foot, Move your right foot. Move your left palm. Move your right palm. Move your neck little bit. Rub your palm over each other. Rub them over the face. Feel the difference of energy between palm and the face. Rub them over the ear. Rub them over the neck. You will find a difference of energy between the face and the palm. With the sustenance and resilience, wellness of ourselves, our friends, cheerful, energetic way, slowly open your eyes. You will find even 7 minutes of our closing eyes and relax ourselves. The closing of 7 minutes can also relax.
Thank you, Raghavendra. That was really very refreshing and energizing as we came out of that meditation. And I especially loved the part where you talk about the sunrise on the river. I think that visualization was really giving hope and energy. Please
Thank
feel
you.
free to share your experience and type in the chat window.
Yes. Also, I love the music. I'm wondering if you can tell us what music this is and maybe if we can hear it, where we can find it.
I think we can share it in the chat box. I have the music.
Okay.
Great, thank you very much. So we can move on to the summary of today's session. So thank you once again, Raghavendra. It was really insightful, very helpful, and apologies if I couldn't get through all the questions, but we can run through all the slides, and then if we've got some time left over, we could address the questions. I quickly want to summarize what we spent some time discussing today. So as we gained some insights on the mind and body being so strongly linked, and like Raghavendra mentioned, it's a biochemical reactor with so many hormones and so many systems and the cells. It's like a rhythm. It's like a orchestra or like a symphony that needs to perform in harmony. And I can see that when you practice like a short visualization, even 7 minutes, that is automatically putting your body in that symphony, in the harmony. The other thing that Raghavendra mentioned, and that I can give testimony to this, the 60-second rule. So when I went to Raghavendra with my own agenda, and I think it was mainly to gain vitality and to improve my stamina, I always found so many excuses for not doing exercise and yoga. But the 60-second rule, I am converted now. It has definitely helped in building some new neural pathways, because of which I can confirm that if I don't do exercise for 2 or 3 days or even 4 days, then something at the back of my mind is constantly telling me to get back on track. So thank you, Raghavendra. I think you really transformed my life in terms of getting fitter. And then practice healing meditation. I think we all really, you can see the benefits. And sometimes when you're doing meditation, I'm just a beginner at this myself. I think we judge ourselves too much about, oh, my thoughts are, I'm so distracted, and there's too many thoughts in my mind, and how does this even help? But even a short relaxation or deep breathing, as Raghavendra mentioned, it can immediately change your body's physiology, the hormones, and the way your brain is functioning. It has immense benefits, especially on your immune system. I've got no background in biology or anything, but just purely as an experience, I can share that. And as Jayanti talked about the connection between emotions and eating, so even if you just sometimes it all seems too difficult and too mind-boggling, but even if you just become aware of your emotions while eating, and even that awareness, I think, helps sometimes in understanding why am I making this choice. Uh, and I'll ask Jayanti to speak more to that point. Jayanti, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you. I think that's the key thing about. I think awareness is the most important thing while we're eating, while we're consuming any food. And as Raghavendra said, I totally agree that if we were eating, and I think personally, I remember I've spoken to Raghavendra about this also, about my own problems with acid reflux. And I think I'm a very fast eater. We always got into this habit of eating really fast, eating in a stressful state. And I love the point that you spoke about how we always prioritize other things because we think they are more important, but our own well-being is so important to thrive well in the world. So thank you for that reminder, which I needed for sure. And I'm sure other people also need this reminder time to time that, hey, your well-being is so important, because other things won't happen if you're not well, first of all.
Precisely, yes. So if we move on to the next slide, we've just put together some handy references. Uh, oh yeah, before that. So Raghavendra, you can take a picture of that slide if you want. Raghavendra has been kind enough to share his personal number. So a number of you, I'm sure, like me and Jayanti even, we've had private consultation with Raghavendra, and as he rightly pointed out, there's things that you can pick up, tips, and so many resources available. But as he said, he's the expert on understanding your goals, your body type, and what it is that you are experiencing, not only through your body but also your mind and your thinking. And he is able to guide you through that customized fitness or diet, which really works effectively for yourself individually. So I would highly recommend it. And this is his book, Dietitude. So if you're thinking, oh, yoga is too complicated, or I don't know if I'm motivated, or it's probably not, it's not as effective as going to the gym, I would highly encourage you to read this book, because he's used such simple words about food, types of food, and some simple yoga, and he has some pictures about the different yoga poses as well. The book is available to buy through Amazon. You can take a picture of this slide, and then we can quickly summarize some handy references on the next slide. So Jayanti, do you want to talk about some of the handy references?
Sure. Personally, also, while you were on the subject of consulting with Ravindra, there's one point, because we are on a webinar about spirituality. Ravindra was the first person I've encountered who was giving me diet advice. And you also asked me about my zodiac signs. And you went really in depth about how I am as a person, which I thought was really key, which was a key element in determining our overall health, because obviously the mind and body are more connected than we all can imagine. So I really value that a lot. In the handy references, there's Dr. Joe Dispenza, whose work I really admire. He's written a book called You Are the Placebo. So it really goes in depth about the mind-body connection. There's also Wild Fit, which I did, I think 4 months ago. which was quite an interesting journey itself. There's also Dr. Mark Hyman from Mind Valley. I think that's how we got to know about him. It's good. And there's also Dr. Oz Garcia, which we haven't written in the references, but because we were on the subject of intermittent fasting, I think he's a great person to talk about that subject, because I think he's a guy who looks at least 20 or 30 years younger than his age, and he gives credit to intermittent fasting quite a bit. So if you're interested in that, I would highly recommend watching some of his talks. And then there's the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali, because Raghavendra, we spoke a lot about yoga today. So anybody who wants to get more in depth about yoga, it's a great book. I've got the version which is by Swami Satchitananda. But there are many versions of this book, which is the original Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. So that's cool. Kalyani, do you want to add something else to the references that I may have forgotten?
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Jayanti. I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza as well, because in researching this subject, I think the most time I spent, because I was simply fascinated by uh, the theories he has. Well, I don't know if you can call them theories, because there's evidence about how people have healed. And there was this really amazing story that I heard recently about someone who had a very rare kind of cancer, and they were given less than 12 months to live. And using Dr. Joe Dispenza's, so he's also got some meditations and some holistic healing. There was nothing left, so they thought, might as well do this, and they actually completely healed themselves. So the mind definitely has a very big role to play in terms of healing your body. And Deepak Chopra, so to be honest, I haven't read Deepak Chopra's books, or haven't. I only did 121-day abundance program, and I think he does have some really interesting talks on mind-body connection, and he does use references related to. I'm not sure if it's yoga, but he does have some references vaguely about Satchidananda. So maybe you can. Deepak Chopra is obviously very popular, so everyone knows, and you can read. I know there's some people who may not like him as much as well, but give it a go with an open mind. And then there's Rob. Yep. So, I mean, obviously, if you don't like any of the references, you can choose not to continue listening or continue researching them. Robert Peng, I just heard his talk on Mind Valley as well. He is a healer and author. He had an incredible story about, I think, when, as Raghavendra said, balance is very important, but there's a lot of things that when you do extremes, your endurance is tested, your mind is tested. So even when you're doing fasting, for example, if it's Ekadashi, which is like a religious thing where you do twice a month, you can fast. If I'm practicing this, and when I wake up in the morning, I'm just not feeling that appetite to have breakfast, because I think my mind already knows, okay, today is the day I have to detox. So I would rather address it like a detox day rather than fasting, because I still eat fruit and coconut water or whatever. But it's very interesting, as you practice, your mind is so aware of it that when you wake up in the morning, you just don't have those cravings, because you have kind of surrendered to that route. This is what I'm going to be doing today. So this is just my snippets of personal examples. So thank you, Raghavendra. I think he was the one who really opened my mind to approaching fitness from a mind's perspective. And I think I'm not a gym person at all, but no matter what I've done in fitness in the past, it has definitely not come anywhere closer to what I've done after following Raghavendra's advice. So highly recommend.
Thank you.
Sachin, do you want to close the session?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Raghavendra. Thank you, Jayanti. Thank you, Kalyani. It was a fantastic session. So once again, this will be recorded and it will go on our YouTube channel. So please follow us on YouTube, Teja Discover Radiant, and our Instagram handle, which is also Teja Discover Radiant. And if you have any queries or questions or want to get in touch with us with future webinar recommendations, please email us on our email ID below. We'd love to hear from you all. So I want to thank you all once again for joining. Thank you.
And thank you to those who are new to Teja sessions. We will love to be in touch with you. So if you can stay connected with us through YouTube or through our Instagram, or you can even write to us. And thank you once again, Raghavendra. Really, really grateful for you to join our session and to give such amazing words of wisdom to everyone. I hope it benefited everyone. Thank you very much.
Teja Group, it's doing very well, very good. I think this will give a new wellness way towards the life, to live life better way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.